only played 9 seasons.
I got hurt one.
Oh, so we're going to count that for 10. Okay. I'll take that.
On the benefit.
So, as a former 5th-round draft pick, you have played 10 seasons. That's pretty great.
Yeah, not too bad.
No, and even though the last couple of 3 have been, can we say, injury-plagued, you've had your share, more than your share. And it did hurt the Dallas Cowboy defense this year when you broke your hand, and then you suffered a back injury at the end of the year that ended your year. Right?
I did. Yeah, it's been tough.
It's been tough.
From, I think it was 2014 to tearing my ACL, then coming back, and then having such, like, high hopes, and then hurting my hamstring. And then coming into this year, having a great offseason, then breaking my hand, missing a game, and then I think, what was it? I want to say it was like Thanksgiving, hurting my back.
Yep. So that definitely hurt this defense. But step back for a second and give us the biggest reason your football team was a disappointment going 9-7 and missing the playoffs.
I think we just had a bad stretch. You know, we played some bad football against some very good teams, and then we lost one of our best players, you know, in the middle of the season for 6 games.
You did. And those, you're talking about those 3 games in a row at Atlanta? Are you starting there?
No,
Philly,
I'm actually starting
Chargers?
with the 18-point lead I think we had against
the
the Rams.
There. Okay.
Then we lost the lead against Green Bay. Then we kind of put ourselves in a position where we had a small margin. And then we lose Zeke for 6 games, and then it just was kind of all downhill from there.
So, since you do play on the defensive side, my partner across the table and I constantly bicker about the value of one Sean Lee. How do you view the value of a guy that you lost on defense and collapsed without on defense?
It collapsed.
Yeah.
I think it's just not losing Sean. When we lost Sean, we had to move Hitchens to a different position, and I mean, it just was kind of like we lost a lot of experience, and it was a number of reasons why we didn't perform. And I mean, Sean was definitely, you know, a big reason. We took a big hit with him, but I mean, I think in the NFL, when you lose people, everyone has to step up. And I don't think I did my part as far as stepping up. I think there's other people that feel like they didn't do their part. But I can't blame it all on Sean. I mean, Sean wants to be out there for 16 weeks. Things happen.
Yep. But those second halves at Atlanta and then against Philly and then against the Chargers on Thanksgiving were all-time disasters and embarrassments. Am I right?
You're right. You're correct.
Yeah. And why did those happen?
I just think that we weren't playing good football at the time. And when you go through a stretch and you play bad football, that's what happens. And unlike any other sport, basketball, baseball, hockey, I mean, they have so many games. You can go through a stretch where you can lose 3 games in a row and you can still recover. When you're playing a 16-game season, I don't think that's possible.
Offensively, my partner and I also debate about this. He thinks that Dak was most responsible for the offensive collapse, even though the loss of the running back was key to the 6-game loss, obviously. But he gave Dak an F for his performance this year. Would you go that far?
Never. I got too much respect for him. I think that he was forced a little bit more on his plate than he expected. You know, it's just people forget that it was his second year. And once again, we lost one of our best players. And we played a lot of those games, like you said, in the second half where we were down and we're forced to throw the football every time. And that's just not the kind of football team we are.
That's not the kind of football team. Who said that, Joe? I could have sworn. Raise your hand if you said that they're not a throwing football team, that they need that 2-1, the guy that just be eating and get up and do this right here. Who said? I could swear that was me. But if he's that guy that you said he was, Skip, he has to deliver the Cowboys from evil.
I think just give him some time. Give him some time to grow. I mean, I think he did some great things. And I think, once again, it's a team effort. And if we're not holding our weight on defense and we're not getting stops and we're putting them in holes where we're down by 2 and 3 scores, I mean, we don't have a choice but to throw every time.
But when he was forced to throw every time, could we please give him one receiver who can actually separate and get open? And I'll be the first to admit, I've said it many times, I'm not only down on Dez Bryant, I'm out on Dez Bryant. Do you want to try to defend Dez Bryant? Because I don't think you can.
I wouldn't jump off the ship just right away. I've been with Dez his whole career, and almost my whole career, and I got so much respect for him. And he's an immaculate talent, and I mean, he still got it. I think, this season didn't go the way he wanted it personally, but
Past 3 haven't, Orlando. The past 3.
That
We're
is
not
a
talking
fact.
about last season. Go back the past 3 seasons. Since he's got the contract, look at his numbers since he's gotten the contract, and you tell me there was a serious discussion that was being had around tables like this. Who would you rather have, Dez Bryant or Julio Jones? Now that's not even a thought.
That is a fact.
I totally understand that, but let's just talk about the contract 1 second. Only thing Dez did with the contract was sign it. He didn't give it to himself, so
He earned it.
I'm never gonna be mad at a man for what he makes.
No, we're not.
We're not mad at
And
him.
I'm never gonna let the amount of money that someone makes define them as a player. And I think Dez is, you know, you're a great player, and
What about the production? Will you let that define a player? Is he producing as a number one? Take money aside. Dez Bryant is the Cowboys' number one receiver. Is he producing like the Antonio Browns, the Julio Jones, all the Thielens, the Diggs, the Michael Thomases, the Mike Evans?
You
Is
don't
he
have enough
producing
time
like
to go
that?
down the list. Yeah.
not. I wouldn't say he doesn't have those numbers, but our offense has changed since Dez had 1,400 yards. Like we're a totally different offense since he's had those
How?
numbers. I mean, I think we're more run driven.
Dolo, DeMarco Murray rushed for 1,848 yards.
the league.
He was Offensive Player of the Year. He had more carries in one season than Zeke has ever had.
But I believe when he had the 1,400 yards, DeMarco Murray didn't have 1,800 yards.
Yes,
that
he
year.
did.
I don't even think we made the playoffs.
Yeah,
that
you
year.
did. That's 2014. Dez was an All-Pro, had 16 receiving touchdowns. That's when we was having that conversation. That's how he got the $45 million guaranteed. That's how he got the $70 million in total contract.
I'm never gonna turn my back, man. That's my guy.
Now stay with him. But
Okay. How often in practice do you take him?
A lot. I mean,
lot.
he makes plays. I mean, I watch him make plays.
But don't you see that his body has betrayed him, broken down with any number of injuries, and he's lost a little quickness and a little speed and some confidence?
I think it all can be fixed. I don't think he's lost any confidence. He's one of the most confident players I've ever been around. I think it can all be fixed. I think he just needs to go back to work and just get back to the basics. And I think we can all get better as players, as athletes.
Do you see there's no real rapport, wavelength connection between Dak and Dez?
I think it's going to take time. I mean, I think, you know, going into last year, no one was even expecting Dak to be our quarterback. Then he becomes our quarterback. We become a run and play action team. Dez numbers dip. I think this year, you know, we're coming in thinking that we're going to be able to repeat 13-3 and, you know, possibly go further. And I think Zeke gets suspended. Tyron gets hurt. You know, we're forced to throw every time. I think that's just not our offense. I mean, give it one more year and see where it goes.
You've always been a run play action. That's why they went and got those 3 offensive linemen. That's why they signed Zeke.
That's what we want it to be. But when we had Tony, you know, Tony was running the show. You know, Tony was able to call the plays and get us in the plays that he wanted to and get us in the situations that he wanted to. And I'm not making excuses, but I'm just not ready to jump off the ship with Dez yet.
So, I mean, okay. So you want another year. So you want another year just like the past 3 years.
I think he deserves it.
Okay, Cole Beasley led your team in receiving a year ago, and his production dropped more than half, which is just stunning. And he's getting a little bit of a pass here. What did you see happen to Cole?
All he can do is catch it. He can't throw it to himself.
Oh, so he just didn't get enough?
All he can do is catch it.
Did you see bracket double coverage on him more than usual?
I don't know, man. I don't watch the other team defense.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So, are you more hopeful than you were a year ago about your team's chances going into next year?
Honestly, man, at this point, I'm just kind of worried about, you know, what I can do that's best for myself. You know, I love those guys. I love that locker room. I got a lot of friends on that locker room, but it's just like I'm trying to figure out at the point of my career what I can do to become more productive and become a productive player again myself.
Are you saying between the lines you're fearful you won't be on this team next year?
I ain't fearful. That don't scare me.
Well, is that
I
a
know
possibility?
I'm gonna play somewhere.
Yeah.
It's always a possibility.
Or did you feel like you were being replaced at the end of the year by the kids?
I mean, I wasn't healthy, so you know, I'd rather kind of let them do their thing than not play healthy.
That's how you should be. Because when you're out there, they don't know, well, man, dude, back's been nicked. He's playing with, hamstrings a little tight. All they see is 32 and Scandrick on the back.
Absolutely.
So when they see that, cut that tape on, they need to know why you're not driving out of that route.
Absolutely.
So you've been in the league team. He knows how it works.
So would you say you're still better than the young corners that they drafted last year?
I mean, like I said, I got too much respect for those guys. I'm not going to compare myself to them because my biggest competition is in the mirror. And I'm going to say wherever I play, I'm going to be productive.
He said wherever he plays.
I heard that.
What's going on, Skate? I mean, go ahead and put it out there. I mean, what you trying to say?
I don't think that. I mean, I just think that, you know, in the direction that we're going, you know, we drafted like 5 corners in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end of the day, I still started 10 games.
You
So,
did?
you know what I'm saying? That speaks for itself. So
So now, back-to-back this week. We've had in Bryce Butler, who's saying he's going elsewhere because you have to follow the money and Dez.
Oh, I don't need money.
Terrence
Yep.
Williams. Well,
I ain't
okay.
following money.
Yeah.
You know,
Everybody need money.
Yeah.
I don't need money. I want money.
Yeah, okay.
Interesting. So if you're not on the Dallas Cowboys, how do you think they'll do next year?
I mean, I think they got a great talented team. You know, I'm sure if they stay healthy and, you know, they play like they're capable, they'll be fine.
It's going to be some moving parts with the Cowboys next
Skip,
year.
you ain't gonna pretty soon. You ain't gonna have nobody be able to come on. Bryce Butler
all
gonna be
the
gone.
stalwarts
Scant gonna
are
be
out.
gone.
Yeah.
Then who you gonna get to come on?
Dez?
I
We
would
would
welcome
love
it.
to
Dad
have
don't want to
Dez
sit in
on.
that seat.
No.
Orlando's sticking around. Is everyone sleeping on the Eagles? We'll discuss that next.